Good afternoon. We're going to be in Job 25, and I think we'll get through 26 today. We have Bildad, who has a few short verses, and Job, who has an answer for him. And let's see where we go. Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, "Dominion and fear belong to him. He makes peace in his high places. Is there any number to his armies? Upon whom does his light not rise? How then can man be righteous before God? How can he be pure who is born of a woman? If even the moon does not shine and the stars are not pure in his sight, how much less a man who is a maggot, and the son of man who is a worm?" It's a bit of a mystery. Because in the beginning of Job, we read that Job was a man who was blameless and upright, one who feared God and shunned evil. But we also know that in and of ourselves, we don't have righteousness. And in Psalm 22, where I believe we're hearing the Lord on the cross, he embraces feeling like a worm. Maybe so that he could identify with everybody that's ever felt that way. So Bildad is saying, "Job, with all your arguments, aren't you kind of being like, acting like you're righteous?" And it's hard when we're in situations and we're going through stuff and we're processing and we're sharing with friends what it feels like to be in our skin and the nuances of our heart and the movements of our mind. And somebody wants to bring a truth to the table that has no mercy for where we are, that has no compassion that we need. So Job answers, and he says, "How have you helped him who is without power? How have you saved the arm that has no strength? How have you counseled one that has no wisdom? And how have you declared sound advice to many? To whom have you uttered words? And whose spirit came from you?" Job is asking Bildad to consider if the truth that he was offering was any help whatsoever. Did it help Job in the place of powerlessness? Did it help him in the strength, in the place where he has no strength? Did it help him in the place where he feels like he's got no wisdom? And if it's not helping, who's it coming from? Or what is the motivation that it's coming out from? The dead tremble. Those under the waters and those inhabiting them. Sheol is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. He stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. He binds up the water in his thick clouds, yet the clouds are not broken under it. He covers the face of his throne and spreads his cloud upon it. He drew a circular horizon on the face of the waters at the boundary of light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his rebuke. He stirs up the sea with his power, and by his understanding, he breaks up the storm. By his spirit, he adorned the heavens. By his hand, he pierced the fleeing serpent. Indeed, these are the mere edges of his ways. And how small a whisper we hear of him. But the thunder of his power, who can understand? To go through something hard, we need a larger understanding of God. These are truths that can launch you into dialogue. These are truths that can be inserted into your intercession so that you remember as you go through who he is, just the edges of him that you see, that you know. You who bind up the water in your thick clouds, would you look at the waters that are me today? Would you put my waters into their proper order? Would you hold my waters in your hand? You whose hand pierces the fleeing serpent, would you pierce the enemy that tries to thwart me, to attack me, to defeat me, to depress me, to tell me lies? You who knows the boundary of light and darkness. Would you keep me in your light? Would you shine abroad in my heart and my mind? Would you help me trade the lies that I've believed for the truth that you have regarding me? And we can use Job's understandings in our own valleys, in our own dark nights, in the places where we need the larger picture of God to be inserted into the very real suffering of our path. I bless you with the truth today that God has not left you without hope. He has not abandoned you. He sees you. And He's risking that you will grow into the healing that He bought for you at the cross. I bless you in Jesus' name today.